observations. First observation is an admission that most of the things that you've been talking about have gone about 1.1 meter above my head. So it's not easily comprehensible for me because you are talking mostly in language that I think science of this or thought processes are given to you. So uh, generally, I could get some of the things, underlying things, but not necessarily all of it. First, I comment on the writing. It is nothing but poetry. I think it's a great poem, and when poets write their poetry, it I think flows. The thought process is not restrained, and that's what happened in the case of Nitya when she wrote it, and that too at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock in the night. So it was an original writing, and it stood the questioning, the deep questioning by many of the other participants. That means its veracity is not in doubt. So having said that, another observation I made is that all of you were able to raise questions of high intellectual, what you call intellectual sharpness, and that I think has come out of the training that Sundarajan has probably tried to give you. And he has been telling every question as significant, great, good, things like that. So, for a change, for variety's sake, I will make a couple of silly observations. If you will not put me to questioning afterwards. From the resume I have seen of Nitya, I find in a commoner's view, it has been a fantastic journey ever since she graduated out of college and got into profession and then marriage, then moving to a new place, getting into different roles in different companies, and then so whichever way you look at it, as again I am telling you from a commoner's viewpoint, it has been an extremely successful journey. But the general writing of this document gives me, not necessarily to all of you, a feeling of what do you call it, undercurrent of, I would say, underperformance. A feeling of underperformance is an undercurrent of this document. That surprises me because I cannot say that there has been an underperformance by Nitya, again, from a communist viewpoint, not necessarily from extremely intellectually oriented people. So that is one aspect of your writing. Second aspect is that uh, you don't know, you are a little bit confused about your destination, where you want to go, how do you go there, and what exactly is the destination point or end point. Uh, you are trying various things. You are trying to balance the existing jobs, roles, and responsibilities that are incumbent on you for some reason or societal reasons. And at the same time, you want to break free from, I don't know what, you want to really break free from certain things that you are not yet able to define. That is why you go and attempt various escape routes. You try to do a very revolutionary thing about shaving your head and trying different dresses. You try to gardening. You try to do social work. You are trying a lot, but then probably you are still not sure where you want to go and when you will know that you have reached there. Or is it going to be, I don't know about this, it's only Smritajan can tell you. There is no end, it's an endless journey. Probably, yes, it may be an endless journey. You keep going, keep going, keep going. As long as your your energies are actually released and you are able to utilize them to make changes in your own life, in your own approach to other people, in your own role in the society or family. Ultimately, what makes you satisfied and individual? At the end of it, what is the measure of all these attempts to do things? What is the measure of when do you know that you have arrived, or you will never arrive when it is an endless effort and journey, or at some point of time you reach an equilibrium between what your past was, how did you do up till now, and how have you done after the training program or after interaction sessions and after experimenting with various things in your life, where you reach another kind of set of things, and there has to be somewhere you need to go for an equilibrium and say that yeah, this makes keeps me happy. When is that point when you come to the point where you think, yeah, I am happy now? Or is there is an eluding thing that happiness is always elusive and you keep trying until you pass away, as Ameva said, every day until you pass away, you might have actually developed a new role for yourself. You maybe a new you for one day, another new you for a second day, and that way it goes on endlessly. I don't know. I'm at a loss to understand that aspect, how it is. Recently, I happened when trying to put it a little lower from the high intellectual level your discussion has been going on. Pardon me for that. Recently, I saw an article by Satyan Antikar. Malayalis will recognize the name. He is a famous film producer, director in Malayalam, Satyan Antikar. Recently, he wrote a piece on the personalities in film industry, the various actors and directors and people like that. And he mentioned, I remember two particular characters being mentioned there. One was Srinivasan, actor Srinivasan. For the sake people who do not know about the film industry in Malayalam, actor Srinivasan is an accomplished actor of a particular genre. That's not necessarily like Mammootty, Mohanlal, that kind of thing, but he's got his own, I would say, a little bit intellectually higher level of filmmaking he has done. He has made films, he has acted in films, he has what do you call, he acted in a film called Sandesham.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was probably directed by him, but made by somebody else. It was produced by somebody else. And he took a remuneration of 80,000 rupees, when any even third-rate actor would have actually demanded and got easily 2 to 3 lakhs. So someone asked him, I think Satyan Andikad only probably asked him, why did you do a role that could have easily got you 3 or 4 lakhs because of your standing? And why did you do the role for 80,000 rupees? Srinivasan's answer was, I don't know, any of you have read this article? It came in that thing during the Onam time.
No, I don't remember.
Srinivasan's answer was that people do not come to see my film after asking how much remuneration I have taken for doing this role.
Right.
It is enough for me.
Great.
80,000 rupees is enough for me. So I have taken that 80,000 rupees. I am not bothered about what other people think, what you people think, what somebody else would have bought up for the same role. So he says, I am happy with 80,000 when somebody else would have been very unhappy with probably 2 lakhs also.
Yes.
Another character he mentioned was about, another person he mentioned was Oduvil Unnikrishnan. Again, he is a character actor, he is a comedian actor, he is
villain.
Character, not a villain, sometimes yes. He is a multi-role person. He unfortunately passed away some time back. He was a very endearing person. His house used to always have people, who come to listen to him, listen to his jokes and participate in give and take, parrying with each other and things like that. So he says, Satyan Andikad says, Oduvil Unnikrishnan is could have got many more roles and made much more money, but he chose not to do that. People say that he takes up a new role in a new film only when money from the past earning is almost coming to an end. So he goes and takes up another role. So he says, I am happy. So the punchline of the article in the end is that you are happy when you say that this is enough for me, for making me happy. This means what I have with me now, what I have achieved now, what I have around me. If when that day, that time when it comes to that point where I say this is enough for keeping me happy, I am happy. So now the question I have is, when are you going to be happy? When are you all the participants here are going to be happy? And when, how is your master, our dear Sundararajan, guiding you there? He is.
Can I answer that?
Yes, just 1 minute. You are actually talking about. I mean, whatever exercises that you are doing is trying to what do you call, energize your intellect in many ways, so that you achieve more and more, and your reality, your creativity, all these things are expressed, find expression in new what do you call, outcomes. So okay, so that's only observation I have made. Yeah, I will. Somebody offered to make a comment.
Yeah, it was not a comment, but an answer to the question that you posed to us
Yeah.
as to when will you be happy. So I speak for myself, and I don't think I seek happiness. I'm happy as I am right now. I have been, and I will be. And I think the joy and the happiness is in the process of learning, in the process of enjoying the company and the peer learning and the insights from people of high intellectual caliber, high empathy, and a high level of interest in walking with you on this very interesting journey. So I don't think it is for any particular end, though yes, it does result in a massive expansion of our intellectual capabilities. But I don't think for me the process is for an end in itself, not at all. It may have been initially when I was less aware of myself and what I wanted, but now I find joy and happiness in the doing of it. And I would like to leave the end to the unknowable, which decides everything for us. And I would not allow my limited mind to decide a purpose, so to say. I'm open to anything.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very brilliant, very powerful question. So everyone can answer. Yeah.
Yeah, anybody else has got an answer, you can come up.
I would say I also don't have a very specific purpose, except having a level of understanding and existence where I'm not bothered by any of the social norms or any kind of classifications or any kind of blocks that prevent me from doing what I want to do. So it would be a free mind where I don't have to worry about anything, not even happiness.
Yeah, I think that's where you try to do things what that makes you. That,
Yeah, it just gives me
makes you
happiness by
happy.
doing it.
Makes you
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
Happiness of doing it.
Just doing itself is like a manifesto because I believe that I have got many abilities which I haven't probably tried my best to develop or at least experience myself. So through the sessions, I try different aspects and it's just testing my own abilities. It's for nothing. Even my husband asked, what is it for? I say I don't have any specific goal for that. But I really enjoy the discussions and just the knowledge by itself is really marvelous.
Yeah, my suggestion is, don't regret what the past.
Oh, yes,
That
yeah.
go forward. Point
Yeah, yeah,
endlessly.
yeah.
But don't regret the past.
Yeah.
And lost time, and you can't wait, and all that kind of feeling. I think that there is no place when you go forward. It should be always forward. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you for the wonderful feedback and comments, sir, and being a part of this discussion today.
Yeah, it has been a big experience for me.
Well, too. You were silent and hidden, and you came forth in the climax, sir.
Right.
No, yeah,
Right, sir.
even now, only my profile is visible there. I think my webcam is not running. So I'm not very happy
No
about that.
problem.
It's a computer camera that is operating now. I don't want to fiddle with it now, last moment, and we get into more problems.
Sir, I have a doubt. Can you please once again say the first point that you mentioned about Nityaji's presentation?
Yeah, she has an undercurrent. I wouldn't say I cannot pick up a particular sentence or a word as a proof of it. But I felt that there is an undercurrent of mentioning don't regret the past. There might have been, because that is why we are into these training sessions, is because we want to explore new opportunities and new levels of achievement. So naturally they will, when you compare the past ones, maybe a little bit underperforming, undersized in terms of outcome. But that shouldn't be the driver. That should not be. Your driver should be going forward, how to exercise your intellect more, how to achieve more, not compare with what has happened in the past.
Okay, sir. Thank
Lost opportunities, don't talk about lost opportunities. That is not a good start for having point.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I had a thought. Can I share it, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I realized when I was looking at, or rather going through this session, that there are so many things which you've written, Nitya, that I resonate with. I think that's when I started reading, and that statement jumped across to me. I pinged you about what you have written. And then, secondly, even certain scenarios here, Mantra or even Ameya had talked about things. And what I was thinking was also the way I tried to put things forward, the idea as to the stream of consciousness was in many ways similar to what you said. And then that's a yin. Then there's a yang as well, which Meenakshi said that she has a totally different way of understanding a different aspect. So I think that are the two parts which we find here. Many which resonates, many which maybe dissonates, but that in cohesion brings up a harmony. And to talk about what Chandrasekharan
Yeah.
wrote right now is that regret part. So it reminds me of a song which in Sinatra said maybe the conclusion would be that you did it your way.
Yeah, that is very good. Very good.
And
Yeah.
also to quote another favorite singer of mine, I think what you are doing or discovering here is that every little thing you do is magic.
Good one. Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That sort of reinforces my view about the past and the new way, the new discovery that you are going to make is out of your interactive sessions and your training program.
To respond to the critical concluding remarks of Chandraji.
Meenakshi has already responded, so somebody else can do it now. No, you are free to just respond more. I'm not restraining you.
Master, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question. Could you say that again?
No, I said the concluding remark made by Chandraji is very critical, very penetrating, very ultimate, and the entire psychology also talks about the so-called happiness purpose.
Yes.
I told you the most renowned so-called creativity researcher as well as trainer in the world is Edward de Bono, and his first and most impact creating book was named Creativity, the Happiness Purpose. So here that entire logic of that book is to establish the fact that without being creative and original, one cannot create and maintain happiness. So that is
Yes.
the point which Chandraji also mentioned.
Yeah. I had one observation to share here. So while we have all seen that creativity or a creative person is somebody who's capable of real happiness, I've also seen this tendency among many people to speak in a manner that makes another person unhappy. And they get so much of joy out of it. Such ordinary responses which are aimed at making another person unhappy. So I often wonder about what joy they get out of making another person unhappy and what that indicates about their mind. And I'm sure it also indicates, or as Chandran sir rightly used that word, it has that undercurrent of their own bitterness with themselves. And that prompts them to make another person unhappy through their responses, through their words, through their expressions. So I've been thinking not just about happiness, but about the drivers of unhappiness as well.
Yeah, that is a Zen mind which you are referring to, Minashi. The Zen mind is not bothered whether an experience is happiness or unhappiness. And that is the universal truth. The plant is not, an amoeba is not, a butterfly is not, a bird is not, a cat is not. That inherent, the so-called pleasure principle of the human mind only creates that, I would say, needless sensitivity about happiness or unhappiness. Just flow. That is where the recent most renowned creativity researcher again, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi also say, all about existence is to allow that flow, calm, cool, unperturbed. Like Jesus was on the cross, Buddha was chased away like a mad dog, Krishna was shot by an arrow. And that's what Krishna told Arjuna also. You just be there. Do not make any, you do not have any right. What is your right to decide that you are unhappy? The same way, you don't have to decide whether you are happy either. Just do. Purnat Purnamudachadi. Whatever you do, whether it is a knowing or whether it is a doing or whether it's a state of being, be completely there. That's all. Finished. What would you like to respond? What would you like to say, Ganesh?
So in my mind, acceptance of what is, I think, critical to remain happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's a word that you use. If you look at the referent of acceptance, same thing as flow. Be just in the flow. That's all. Good. Parvati would like to say something? Yeah. Yes. Ganesh, continue.
No, I was just concluding to say that I think that's what Chandraji also alluded to. Accept, the past, present, and whatever comes in the future as well.
All right.
Accept and flow, as you said.
No, I make a small correction to that. What you said. I didn't say acceptance at the level at which you are happy. There may be conditions.
No, sir. I didn't allude to that either. I didn't mention that either. So we are aligned.
Okay, right.
So Amaya would like to say something.
Yeah, but I never thought about happiness because I never thought about happiness, sadness, nothing. I never thought about any of those emotions. But if I am to say about am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. And am I not happy? I'm not happy. Am I sad? I'm not. Yeah, I am sad. Am I not sad? I'm not sad. So I'm not any of them. But I am at the moment. I'm happy about something, and I'm not at, only at that moment I am that emotion. If there's a sad thing that happens, I'm sad. And if there is something happy, I mean, there is something that happens that makes me happy. I'm happy. So it's actually what Ganesh Ramanji said. That is going with the flow. There is no single same thing that always happens, like in life.
All right.
So that is what I felt. So that is what all of you are trying to infer, I think. So it is just a different way of saying whatever you all said. So as of now, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm listening to you all. I'm happy that I could listen to read what Nitya ji had written. I'm happy that Chandra ji is here today to listen to us. I'm happy about a lot of things now. But yeah, at the bottom of my mind, I'm always happy about whatever has happened. That is that. If that is what is called happy, yes, I'm happy. In a neutral
Parvati.
state.
All right. Parvati.
Yeah, I'm also thinking similar to what Amer said. I don't know what happiness can be defined as. I can't put it a general definition to that either. But yes, I'm in a journey, and while on the journey, I come across a lot of blocks. There are so many resistances that I have to cross through. So if I'm able to pass all these easily, and life the path is made easy for myself, then that is a smooth journey. Then probably that is happiness. And if I have to struggle, there are blocks, then yes, there is less of I'm at a stage where I may not be happy. I'm trying to define happiness in certain ways. And this trainings of Sundarji definitely has helped me to surpass all these blocks and resistances, the things that come on my way, uh, in a very cool way. So the kind of the mind has reached a level or a stage through these interactions with Sundarji, or even other participants on this platform, to really address, or coolly face these obstacles that come your way, and coolly come out of all these um, in a very what to say, not being bothered about things too much, not being affected by those things too much. So all that keeps you in a very calm state, cool. So all these things will define my happiness, and
Yeah,
I'm really there.
precisely. This is what Chandraji also mentioned, equilibrium. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I want to point out that because equilibrium is, as Maya was saying, some days you are sad, some days you are happy. Some things make you happy, some things make you sad. So ultimately, these are all. This is where I think I mentioned the equilibrium. There has to be some. You have to be at peace with yourself finally. That is a final. That is the equivalent of happiness. When you are at peace with yourself, with what you have, sadness plus there is nothing called unmixed sadness or unmixed happiness in life. It's always a mix of both. Where do you find as I again come back to the same word, equilibrium. Where do you find that equilibrium? That is where ultimately you become happy, and that is where probably you should start sharing your happiness with others. Rather, you start coaching.
All right. Mandra Rishia, would you like to say something?
About happiness, again, like Amaya said, and I have not like thought about it.
All
So
right.
regarding this program, I think like again, like Parvati ji said, there are ups and downs, and we are going through something nobody would have gone through. Um, so it's mentally there is a lot of uh, differences occurring, and for me, I think um, more than the happiness, the confusions that are occurring brings more thrill. And finally, when the result is gained from those confusions, uh, yes, we reach a happy stage. So that is when we'll be happy. But it's just a word again. Sometimes that happiness is not exactly what we want, and it's kind of subtle about how I feel about it. So that's.
All right. Okay. Okay, Anuradha.
I feel it is okay to be sad once in a while. Because without
Of course,
sadness,
yeah.
we'll not know what happiness is.
All right. Okay. Yeah, of course. I used to use the word wonderful sadness. Yeah.
Yeah. The same
And
goes
most
with
of the time,
achievement, achievement, everything. Maybe underachievement is a driving force towards achievement. So,
and most of the time, yeah, yes, of course, true. And if you look at the history of geniuses, so-called wonderful human beings, they all enjoyed sadness. They all transcended sadness. They all, to use the Freudian language, they they sublimated sadness.
And some of them succumb to sadness.
Yeah.
There are a
Oh.
lot of creative people who have actually become alcoholics, for example.
No, that
And
is not the
yeah.
creativity we are referring to, Chandraji. No.
No,
We
no.
are talking precisely about creativity in self, not creativity in dance or music or painting or etc.
No, I am talking about writing.
Yeah,
You can't, you
yeah.
can't, you can't deny that. Others are skills. When you come to writing, it's just not skills alone. There is a display of intellect there, right?
All great thinkers have been reportedly sad people. Even the well-known statue of a thinker,
Yeah.
there's a
Yes,
statue called
it's
the
like
statue
this,
of a thinker.
like this, no, sitting
Yeah,
like this. Yeah,
yeah,
sitting like
yeah.
something like that.
It was done by a great sculptor by name J.B. Rodin, Jean Baptiste Rodin. And the expression on the face of the thinker is very obvious sadness. So, like another said, happiness need not be the purpose of existence. Flow. In that flow, there will be turbulence. That is what even the nature process is clearly manifesting. Even the trees here. When I look out of my door right now the entire surface is full of grass and with energy generating leaves and trees and all that. And after about 2-3 months, there will be summer, and all the trees will be very, very naked. I can say very disappointed. All the leaves are down. The entire ground is dry. All the grasses have kind of gone into uh, some kind of a hibernation. And again, when the season comes, again it is sprouting. So that cycle, beautiful. Enjoy that cycle, that forest of existence of one's own, outside as well as inside. Yes, Naveen.
Sir, to me, the happiness is nothing but a feeling of neutrality, a feeling of coolness,
All right.
and that way, through this session, and the electromagnetic, it's like a electromagnetic field in which the magnetic domain of myself is getting aligned with the given direction of the guru, mentor, or teacher. And that alignment of the free electrons or the free molecules of mind is giving a sort of a sort of a flow of electrons and producing electricity like energy or a magnet like energy, and that energy gives the feeling of happiness, and that
All
is
right.
my happiness. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful metaphor. Beautiful metaphor. All right. Okay. Didn't already mention something. Would you like to say something more, or?
No, sir. I'm good.
All right. Okay. Veena would like to say.
Because for an equilibrium, already both with respect to happiness, both unhappiness and happiness has to exist. Otherwise, the question of equilibrium does not arise at all.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Vinay.
So it's always, as already mentioned, it's always going beyond that realm of polarities.
Okay, beautiful.
That's it, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay. Ramesh.
Yeah. So, in terms of happiness, two things. One is within and happiness within and happiness radiating outside. And Chandraji also touched upon that particular point where inspiring. So, one is initiation is within, or that once you go through that complete circle of knowing, being, doing, having, then finally when you come to that giving point, so you are giving to others. So what is there within? From your inside happiness, that inside happiness is radiating outside as more inspirational, and it's getting benefited on a larger scale. So so that's what I'm able to see through it in today's Nityaji's presentation, and yeah, that's the take on happiness, sir.
All right. Okay, beautiful.